Megan. Well, investigators, they are getting a better idea as to how all of this took place. Just down the street here on Labworth Road, you can see crews are outside the explosion site where this all took place. They say gas possibly escaped from one of the lines or appliances in one of the homes. Now, BGE and federal regulators also telling us that the pipes feeding the houses were not leaking. In fact, there have been no leaks reported here within the last 5 years. A spokesperson for BGE says it appears the issue is on the customer side of the meter. Now, that alone is unsettling news for neighbors like Tammy Bass, who couldn't believe what she was seeing when her doorbell cam captured the moment the home across from her just blew up.
It's imperative we find out what happens. Whoever is responsible, there's a lot of people suffering, including the people that have lost their lives.
Now, at this time, investigators tell us that they are looking for broken supply lines or faulty appliances like stoves or hot water heaters in the middle row home. They say that's where the blast is believed to have originated from. Now, back here live at the scene, we're being told that investigators from the city, state, even the federal level will continue combing through the piles of debris, looking for additional clues. Again, the cause is still being looked into at this hour.
Hope continues as crews are still on the scene at this hour in Northwest Baltimore, searching for survivors after today's deadly explosion that killed one person and sent 7 others to the hospital. Fox 45 was first on the air with news of that blast, and our team coverage continues tonight from Northwest Baltimore.
We begin with Fox 45's crime and justice reporter Joy LaPola, who brings the stories of terror as many homeowners felt the ground shake, either running to help or sheltering in fear.
Everyone heard a boom.
A seemingly routine morning erupts into chaos.
A big explosion just went boom.
Althea Myrie stood just feet from the explosion.
Because when you look up, you actually see debris going up and coming back down.
It looked like it's about 2 or 3 houses.
Others felt the explosion from blocks away.
I was just washing the frying pan, and hear a big old boom. I think it's the people upstairs that just moved upstairs, dropped something heavy.
All anyone did know was people were buried alive.
I just started yelling at people to come and help.
Leon Phillips had just left home.
I was at work. I got a phone call telling me that the house was blown up.
For those who were here, their attention shifted to helping neighbors with no way out.
We heard the lady saying help, help, so we just went and started pulling debris off of her.
And I had left some people, some friends in there. I don't know if they still in there or did they survive or what.
As some paramedics rushed to the scene,
Yeah, just one woman so far.
others were running from it.
They just took somebody out in an ambulance. I'm sorry. I pray for them.
Karen's 86-year-old mother lives in this neighborhood.
She lives almost directly across the street from the explosion.
While her home is still standing,
It's a mess in there. Glass everywhere.
I thought it was an earthquake.
Windows blew out.
Never seen anything like this in my life.
and she hopes to never see it again.
I feel terrible. I feel sad, man, at a time like this.
So the row homes leveled in this explosion were built in the 1960s. Alexa Ashwell spoke with an expert about the role aging infrastructure may have in a tragedy like this. Alexa?
Yes, Mary, these homes where the explosion occurred are masonry homes, meaning they're in fact supposed to be stronger than, say, a wood frame. Of course, fixtures and valves can wear over time. Row homes reduced to rubble. An explosion so great it destroyed 3 brick masonry homes here in Northwest Baltimore.
I would say probably the homes from that vintage would survive this better than a current home would.
That, speaking to the magnitude of the blast, records show the destroyed homes were built in 1960, raising the question if aging infrastructure, including piping, may have aided in what went wrong. Mechanical, structural, and civil engineer Dr. Brian Bramall weighs in.
There are elements that would wear. Because wear is something, 2 surfaces rubbing together is what I would consider to be wear. And you don't get a lot of that except in valves.
Dr. Bramall believes this would be rare, but if the case is often the result of recent maintenance work not completed properly. The only way to find out, lifting the rubble layer by layer.
Trying to figure out, piece this together piece by piece of the remaining gas pipings within the structure as well to try to determine the actual cause of the incident.
The real focus will be on the basements of these places.
Dr. Bramwell points out gas is heavier than air and therefore will rest in the lowest areas. There's also the anatomy of these row homes.
You go down to our row houses in the city, frequently if somebody's smoking on one side of the wall and you're standing on the other side, you'll smell it, just because there's natural leaks that come through all those little break joints. It could be that all three basements were saturated. It could be that just one basement had the natural gas in it, and when it blew, it just took the other two buildings with it.
And Guy, Mary, of course, the big question tonight, what caused this explosion and what remains under investigation?
Are still here, and they expect to be here throughout the evening as they attempt to put this community back together again. But everywhere in the community, there's shattered glass, broken doors, and plenty of questions about what really happened here and why.
It was a few minutes after breakfast.
Thought maybe it was an earthquake.
When the explosion rocked this community to its core.
All of a sudden, I heard boom, and the picture fell off the wall onto me.
And then I woke up, I realized I was covered in glass.
And I didn't know what was going on. We were just simply terrified.
In a matter of seconds, 3 neighboring homes were reduced to a mound of rubble. Investigators blame a major gas explosion, but that's hardly enough to put many minds at ease.
But they're not saying, what set it off. So, that's got me a little bit worried.
I think everybody is really concerned just because of the magnitude of the explosion and how many houses are affected.
Some neighbors complain their homes now smell of gas and plan to spend the evening at a hotel.
So I'm going to have to find somewhere, and I have to find somewhere that will accommodate my dogs.
At this home, Toya's father couldn't escape when the explosion shifted his home's foundation.
He tried to get out of the back but couldn't because the screen door, that had shifted also, so he was really trapped on the inside.
Now, her parents say they won't be returning until they learn exactly what happened here and why.
They just don't want to risk it, and I don't want my parents in here risking it at all either.
And back live here, you can see they have now brought in heavy equipment to remove a lot of the debris and get to the bottom of exactly what happened here. And the Red Cross is also offering hotel rooms to many of those families affected from all of this. And some of them tell us they plan to stay for as long as a week.
This isn't the first time something like this has happened, Kai.
That's right, Mary. In fact, Liz Ortiz joins us right now. Liz Ortiz joins us right now with a look back at past explosions in Baltimore City.
3 row homes leveled today in Northwest Baltimore. 1 woman killed, several others injured. City fire officials believe a gas explosion is to blame. Chief Roman Clark asked during a news conference if he has ever seen anything to this magnitude in Baltimore City.
Years back, we had one over in East Baltimore similar to this, where basically the walls fell down. And I don't know if you remember, we actually lost a kid walking home from school. I remember that very vividly.
Here is a look at that scene in 2014 on North Lakewood Avenue. A row home exploded, caught fire, rubble went flying into the streets. As Chief Roman Clark mentioned, sadly, an 8-year-old boy was killed walking home from school. In December of 2017, 1 man was sent to the hospital after an explosion in Baltimore Highlands. Neighbors there reported smelling gas before that blast. And just 1 day after that, 9 homes were destroyed after an explosion in Lockern. Debris was blown hundreds of feet away, and people heard it for miles.
Boom. Huge.
Like boom. It's a big boom.
Witnesses from that incident told stories that sound extremely similar to what we've heard today.
I thought she had knocked something off the wall. I thought it was a tree that fell through our house.
The house involved is completely destroyed. There is no structure left.
Fortunately, no one was hurt in that explosion.